Moving on, the Court of Appeal in Abuja has nullified the election of Godswill Akpabio as a candidate of the All Progressives Congress (APC) for Akwa Ibom Northwest Senatorial District. In the judgment, a three-member panel of justices set aside the judgment of a federal high court which ordered the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) to accept and publish the name of Akpabio as the party's senatorial candidate. The Appellate Court, in its verdict, held that Akpabio, being a presidential aspirant of the APC, could not have participated in the valid primary of the party held on May 27, thereby ordering INEC to recognize Akpabio as the authentic candidate of the party. Reacting to the development, Akpabio says his lawyers are studying the judgment of the Appellate Court for the purpose of seeking redress. In a statement he personally signed, the senator said he is aware that the Supreme Court has the final say in these matters and called on his supporters and constituents to remain calm and law-abiding as they continue campaigning for the success of APC in the senatorial district. Well, to discuss this further, I have with me on the news a legal practitioner, Oshoma. Thank you very much for joining us. Now, so the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) has printed Akpabio's name in its candidate list for the 2023 election. Everything seems to be in motion for the candidates. Now, what exactly does this judgment by the Court of Appeal mean and its implications?
Thank you very much, Falashade. What the judgment simply says is that Akpabio was never a candidate in the primaries in the the APC primaries in Akwa Ibom, that he was never ab initio a candidate, that he couldn't have been contesting the primary election, the presidential primary election, and at the same time contesting the senatorial election. That's basically what the Court of Appeal said. And so what that means is that Akpabio is not a candidate to now say that he's the validly nominated candidate. If you don't put something on nothing and expect it to stand. And so what that means is Akpabio's name ought not to have been on INEC list. But I also want to quickly say this, that before that judgment yesterday, there was another judgment in the Federal High Court in Uyo, where the Federal High Court also invalidated the primaries conducted by Akpabio faction in Uyo, the House of Assembly primaries conducted by Akpabio faction. The court in that election on its own now asks that another primaries be conducted. I want to state here that the court does not have that power to ask that another primaries be conducted because the time for conducting primaries had lapsed. Secondly, you can only, when having recognized that candidates were validly nominated, you cannot now say, except those candidates resign, you cannot now ask in another breath that, another primaries should be conducted. In the case of Akpabio, the Court of Appeal came down heavily on the Federal High Court also, to the extent that...
Now, sorry to interrupt you, but bringing it home now to the case of Akpabio, who, of course, has indicated that he would pursue the case further in the highest court of the land. What do you say about this issue? And do you think he has a fighting chance?
Look, let me tell you, by virtue of Section 84, subsection 1 of the Electoral Act, the states that INEC shall monitor, every political party that is conducting its primaries shall give notice to INEC, and INEC shall monitor that primaries. And that, what the court simply does now is, first and foremost, to look out for the report of INEC that monitor that election. But it was unfortunate that in the case of Akpabio, why the Federal High Court even gave him judgment was because of the statement made by the Director of Voters Education and Awareness of INEC to the fact that the statement of the Resident Electoral Commissioner that monitored the election that Akpabio did not participate in that primary can be jettisoned by INEC. Having said that, he prepared the ground for Akpabio to now claim that victory in the primaries he did not conduct. But the Court of Appeal, having said that, that report issued by the Resident Electoral Commissioner is valid and subsisting, I wonder why Akpabio is even bothering going to Supreme Court. But like we say, Supreme Court had the final say on this matter. And I know that the Supreme Court will also toe the line of the Court of Appeal to the fact that a man who did not participate in a primaries cannot be said to have won that primaries. Akpabio, for all intent and purpose, was a candidate at the presidential election. When did he obtain the expression of interest form for the senatorial election? When did he obtain the nomination form for the senatorial election? For him now to become a candidate in that election.
Well, Liberal Oshoma, many thanks for that analysis, but it's just much you can take. And it's definitely a political season, so we expect more intrigues as 2023 elections draw nearer. But thank you very much for your time and your contribution.